Alright, so I'm pretty sick of watching some mediocre football players in evaluating who everyone else says is are good players, who are about to be drafted high and be on millions of dollars a year from the 2024 NFL draft. So today I thought I'd explain why I think Philip Lindsay, a former undrafted player who broke out with the Broncos, I think maybe had some injury issues, and there's some certain stigmas attached to him that might explain why he's not in the NFL anymore, or even playing anywhere. He did play for the Seattle Sea Dragons in the USFL or XFL, whatever it was, and I put together some tape of that. Um, so he has played recently. He's not on a team now. He's 29 years old. Like, I don't see any reason why he couldn't still be just as productive as his earlier years. But there's a stigma attached to him that I've seen online. Bad in pass protection. Like, really doesn't offer anything other than rushing ability, which is just not true. Like, I put in some highlights here of him pass protecting, I believe. In fact, okay, so I've only put together one highlight tape of him. But I actually thought he was one of the best free agents in the 2021 off-season. Just like I called Shelby Harris, Troy Hill, Mike Hilton, Gerald Everett. Like, all those guys did actually make huge impacts on their new teams. Some guys didn't really get a decent opportunity, like Jamon Brown. Wesley Woodyard, I think, retired, but was one of the top linebackers. Who, mind you, won a ring with the Broncos on that stud defense when Peyton Manning was kind of falling apart. Woodyard doesn't get enough props for being like one of the best linebackers of the last decade or so, I reckon. Taylor Cornelius is playing in the CFL and he's still a monster. Hasn't really been given an NFL shot apart from like rookie mini camp with the Packers, I believe. And obviously Gronkowski and Barrett would win a ring with the Buccaneers. Um, but yeah, I could show you the Philip Lindsay tape. I got a minute of Philip Lindsay tape in that video, but we'll focus on this video here. Um, Lindsay, I think it's between him, Jarrett Patterson, who I believe is playing for the Chargers now. The Chargers have potential to like actually be competitive because they've got Gus Edwards and Jarrett Patterson in that running back room, and Isaiah Spiller, who are all dogs. Um, I should emphasize the dogs because dogs actually doesn't sound very nice, but they're brilliant players and they might actually have a competent running game because Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly just clearly didn't cut it, did it? Um, it's I think Ezekiel Elliott, I haven't evaluated him recently, but a couple of years ago, I still thought he was like a top running back in the league. He's getting a little bit older, so maybe his physical ability is deteriorating a bit. And I think football, more so than basketball, because basketball's a more skill-oriented sport, I think being in great physical condition is actually more important as a football player, just because it does require more physical prowess, like size and speed and strength and stuff. So Zeke might have deteriorated, his ability might have deteriorated a bit just because he can't get to the spaces that he might have wanted to, things like that. But regardless, I think Philip Lindsay would be a top 5 running back in the NFL today, and it's really unfortunate that he's not playing anywhere. So I just thought I'd evaluate the nuances in his game that make me think that he's still at an elite level. So it'll be a mix of Colts and Sea Dragons highlights in here. Okay, so takes the hand off, and his vision is telling him to go through what I think is the right side B gap. And a lesser running back would just be content with just running straight ahead to where his tight end is blocking. But he's got the vision and the agility to bounce this outside where the defense is weaker. So this hop step, boom. And then I think he holds the record for the most rushes without a fumble. And you can see why. Whenever there's any defense around him, he's going to wrap the ball up. See, look. Oh, I've just accidentally full screened it here. He's cradling the ball here even when it's only one guy coming in for the tackle. So he prioritizes ball security, and a lot of guys like a Ramondre Stevenson, I feel like I don't like him as a player at all. I think it's just like, if you're a fumble risk as a running back, like calling a run play is the most conservative run play you can call. And if you still turn the ball over on the most conservative call because your running back can't hold onto the ball properly, then how can you have a reliable offense, right? So, number one thing I think as a running back is just don't turn the ball over. Like, a quarterback can get away with turning the ball over here and there just because, like, it's a bit more of a boom or bust play, a pass play, particularly if you're throwing deep. Like, which could essentially just turn into an arm punt, right? If it's 3rd and long, like, yeah, throw the ball up, your guy might come down with it, the opposition might come down with it, but you're probably going to have to turn the ball over anyway if you're making that decision, so it's not a huge loss. And whilst it might turn up as an interception on the stat sheet, it's like, it doesn't actually inhibit your team from being any more or less competitive. But anyway, here's Lindsay cradling the ball and still has the speed to escape. And look, I like that he's preserving his body here, running out of bounds. He could have fought, okay, bouncing it outside. Okay, maybe if you had all-world vision, you'd try and circle around and then maybe cut back infield. But look, he's 2nd and 6. He turned this into, like a 15-yard gain or something. So he's got that agility. And let's just watch this in real time. This filthy step. Boom. Right? It's just so hard to tackle. And here he has the the defense on their toes because he gives them a little shimmy even before he is actually in an easy to identify one-on-one situation. And then he hits the hole with everything he's got. So see what this... So it's kind of that little stutter step freezes the defense. So they're like, oh, well, which direction is he going? Because if Lindsay had have just kept running straight, the defense could key in on that and blow him up. But instead, he has them on their, like, uncertain as to what angles to attack. And by then, it's too late. Because, like, when you look at this, the defensive line has penetrated the line of scrimmage, right? So an inferior running back could get TFL'd on this, but Lindsay turns it into a touchdown because he's got so many skills in his bag to make the defense shit themselves, essentially. And he's the hardest runner I've ever seen, I think. Okay, here's pass protection. So you're telling me this is at the NFL level. Lindsay had been in the Colts, like, training camp or on the Colts squad for maybe only a few weeks, and here he is absolutely dropping a blitzing linebacker, which essentially allows Matt Ryan or Nick Foles to get this pass away, which ends up being a 1st down on 3rd and 9. So Lindsay squares up with the blitzing linebacker. Now, I don't really like cut blocks. It's dangerous to everyone involved. You could get a concussion. This guy could have his knee torn to shreds. And if you lose your feet, then you can't really recover and then help your team anymore. But the effect is apparent because Lindsay takes out the defender that could have batted the ball down or sacked Foles, because Foles passes in that exact hole that the linebacker was blitzing. So to me, you say that Philip Lindsay can't pass protect. Like, what would an inferior running back have done here? Probably only been looking at the left-hand side B gap and been completely unaware about this blitzer, right? Because this guard commits, I think that's Danny Pinter. He commits too much to the left-hand side when his teammates already got a guy blocking. And so Philip Lindsay, who's like, I don't know, 190 pounds dripping wet, does a better job of blocking than a 300-pound offensive lineman in this situation. And it gets his team the first down. Okay, this is a close-up vision of, again, Lindsay's good ball security, good adjustment of which hole to attack. He could have just been a moron and kept running into the arse of his teammates here, but he makes the adjustment. And he's hard runner, good ball security. And here, again, people are criticizing him for not being good in the pass game. We've seen that he can pass block. Here he is getting out on the flat, turning his head around as soon as he can. And what makes him great is that he's got great awareness. Right? So he gets out, gets the pass, and he's already got vision on the defender, even though the pass was lofted and it's just really awkward, right? He could think that he could get blown up and get tackled for a loss, and he knows this, so he turns his hips around and his eyes around so that he can see the defender as soon as possible. And that gives him enough time to spin out of the tackle and then go to work from here. Like, how do you watch this guy and not think that he's just an all-world player, dude? So, maybe what should he have done in this situation? Cut the play short. Maybe stop running this way towards the defense. Just cut it short, and then he can attack this part of the field. Maybe that was a little bit smarter. But nonetheless, like, he does 2 spins in the span of a second. And then, yes, it's a TFL, but what would a lesser running back have done? Would have caught it and then potentially fumbled the ball because he's in a disadvantaged position here. And this is just showing his rushing prowess. I'm going to keep the video nice and short. Essentially, this video could be used as tape as evidence that Lindsay deserves to be playing professional football somewhere. If you're a fan of football and you want to see the best of the best go at it, then Lindsay needs to be on that football field. I've shown a rep of him pass protecting, and I've shown a rep of him catching a pass. And obviously, you know, his rushing ability, I don't think anyone doubts. So it's just fun watching players who actually know what they're doing. And I evaluated how many running backs in the 2024 NFL draft. I only evaluated the top 4, and I wasn't really a fan of any of them. So that's disappointing to see. Like, there isn't going to be a highly touted running back who's probably going to get snaps as a rookie, who is actually a game changer. So that's pretty disappointing. But yeah, if you want to watch this video, look up Underrated Sports Vids, Philip Lindsay, or check out my channel. And if you want to check out some of my paywall stuff, you know, feel free to. We got Jarrett Patterson tape that I put together here. Leave comments if you want me to evaluate that, why I like his play so much. And yeah, thanks for watching.